In California tonight, there are grave worries about the death toll attributed to the state's absolutely unprecedented wildfires. The death toll officially stands at 80 for the California wildfires tonight. Most of those deaths occurring in Butte County in the northern part of the state where the Camp Fire has been burning. And while that death toll number, that 80 number, is horrific, what is becoming more and more unnerving as the days go by is the persistently gigantic number of people who are considered missing in conjunction with the fires. The LA Times tonight has a good article basically going through the list of missing persons and identifying some of what appear to be duplicates and finding some people who are on the list who are nevertheless definitely alive and accounted for. So there is great hope that the 1,000-person long missing persons list will ultimately be winnowed way down, and let us hope that the death toll will not rise much higher than it is now. But it is already really high at 80. And this is a complex and still evolving situation. The rain that is due to fall in some affected areas of the state this week, that not only increases the risk of mudslides and landslides and flooding in areas that have burned, that also complicates the physical task of trying to find human remains in areas where searchers have been painstakingly going house to house and car to car and property to property, trying to find any physical signs of the remains of Californians who were killed in these fires. So we are continuing to watch that story unfold. We expect that story will continue to be horrific over the course of this week, and it will be changing circumstances with changing weather there this week. It's just a natural disaster of national proportions. The president's visit to California this weekend was marked by a number of embarrassing missteps on his part, including repeatedly misstating the name of the town of Paradise, California, as Pleasure, California. The president also continuing to insist that he had some sort of magical information about preventing forest fires by raking forests, cleaning out what he called their floors. And it's easy to laugh at or scoff at the president for being so fundamentally incompetent and embarrassing and classless on a presidential trip like this one that he took this weekend. But in the context of whole communities burned to the ground and dozens of Americans killed in absolutely horrifying circumstances, a number that may rise to hundreds if and when their remains can finally be found and sifted. I mean, there is just something toxic about having the leader of the country there in the middle of that catastrophe, and him being so profoundly unable to get even the basic, simple human stuff right. I mean, you know, the notes that you'd give somebody for a trip like this could fit on an index card, right? People died, don't blame them. Express concern. Figure out the name of the place you were talking about. Do not make stuff up about any of this, specifically about how you would have avoided the disaster if people were only as smart as... I mean, most presidents wouldn't even need instructions like that because most human beings could intuit those basic rules for how to approach this kind of a trip. So I just, sometimes when the president, screws up and spells stuff wrong and gets names wrong and misstates facts, sometimes there is an element of funny to it. In this context, is just, as I said, it was just sort of toxic.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.